Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Primetime Pepaganda with your host, Pep. I am very happy to see all you fine folks here. We are going to be covering some, what I would call slop. In comparison to everything going on in the world, this is definitely sloppy. And you know what? Occasionally, you got to allow yourself to just kind of not take life too seriously, and you can kind of get into this stuff. If you're not into drama stuff, I understand, but this has a lot to do. Well, this has everything to do with Rashad Richey. If you guys do not know about the Rashad Richey drama that is going on, there was a creator named Cam James who he wasn't really on my radar before. I think I had watched one or two of his essays, not even really kind of thinking about it. It was more so for like the content and not the creator at that point. Um, and yeah, and now that I have a firm understanding that he comes from a leftist perspective, which I'll be honest, I was not going to entertain this entire situation because I wasn't sure of his political affiliation, which is not the proper way to go about thinking about like any of this. Like, I understand that we have to be vigilant in the times that we're in, specifically with all the bad faith actors and everything, but also you can't go into something just trying to protect yourself like in the bubble, we have to be able to think critically about this stuff, and that's why um I thought some of the attacks on Cam James from some of the community were a little disingenuous because they were kind of doing this thing like, why would you even do this? This is hurting our cause. It's like, well, if he's exposing fraud, fraud is fraud. You can't get caught supporting fraudulent activities. That will put you in a very awkward position when it comes to actually defending any of your positions, because then it could just be boiled down to, well, you support somebody that commits fraud, which I gotta say, it has been it's been interesting seeing the downfall of TYT just as a whole, but then to have this happen to one of the shows that I watch, um, it kind of sucked, and that's where I even bring this up because yeah, I was a viewer. I still watch JR. I still watch uh, John Adirola. And yeah, we have been actually covering TYT a little bit more because ever since we had like the Anna apology, I do kind of feel like, I don't know, their opinion is worth at least listening to, even if they're wrong. I do think that that's something that should be called out. But with that being said, they have certain people in these spheres, like this guy Nate the lawyer. He did a deep dive on this because I guess he kind of got brought into it through watching Cam James, and then I guess Cam James was like, his audience was like, have you ever talked to Nate? Nate the lawyer, and if you guys don't know who Nate the lawyer is, he's definitely, he claims to be independent, but he leans right. He definitely hangs with more of a right wing crowd. Like, if you've ever seen any of his live streams, he has these two lawyers that are overt right wingers that also are just absolutely insufferable. Because I don't think a lawyer can be worth half a damn if they're out there spewing a whole bunch of right wing propaganda, and it's the same crap that you hear from your random chatters. Like, that's the kind of stuff that really bothers me about that. Um, but here, I'm gonna bring up a little bit of Cam James because we're not gonna watch the full thing, but I do feel like you guys should get a little perspective of what he was covering, and then we're gonna go into the Nate the lawyer breakdown of everything that is going on with Rashad Richey because I'm not gonna bury the lead with my opinion. I'll give my summary, but it's disappointing. I'll say that
Told
much.
y'all, this one's gonna hurt. Yeah, from the outside looking in, he's a black progressive leftist, like me. By all
You see
accounts,
it,
his media.
and right there, it tackles the disingenuous framing on which some people were kind of attacking this because they were saying that, this guy's bringing down black creators. This guy, like, he's doing damage, blah, blah, blah. But like I was saying, he he literally comes at this from the same perspective and political perspective as any of us. So he definitely did not a disservice. I think that he's doing a service here. I think that if if you guys are okay with somebody going to any degree mill, and this is what I don't understand, the guy already has a legitimate PhD. Why do this? Like, that's my biggest hangup. But
Media presence
I'll
has
let this
been
go.
crucial in the fight against systemic racism and discrimination, despite the clickbait thumbnails and efforts to profit off of drama. I
Yeah.
saw him debating some of the
Which
worst.
you have to admit that I even started thinking that that was kind of odd that he would do these like deep dives and then at the end of the day you were just getting fed a bunch of Karen did this. Bleh.
Conservatives in the world, like Rob Smith in that clip, as well as many white far right conservatives. I think talk show debates are pointless clout chasing because nobody cites their sources.
It's not wrong.
But I digress. He's fighting the good fight, right? That should exempt him from being called out for blatant
Cope laugh.
lies, right? Hell no. And the rest of this video exists to do just that. This one's for everybody claiming I only attack a certain type of person.
I'll turn this up
We
a little
gotta
bit.
call out our own. First, we need to establish what he's claimed to have and confirm it's him behind those claims in the first place. I'm using 3 sources for this: his official LinkedIn page, his official bio on the Young Turks talent site, and his bio on the Fairness Firm's site. That last one was a firm he created, which has a much longer name on paper: International Law Group of Human and Civil Rights Attorneys, PC. I said was because the firm was administratively dissolved this September, according to the Georgia State Department. That's what happens when you don't pay your bills. He's listed as a CFO on this page. The bio calls him a managing partner, and he doesn't even practice law since he hasn't passed the bar at time of publication. That JD isn't real either, but we'll get to that. They probably closed up shop due to not having enough clients, to be honest. Out of the 10 to 12 advanced
Which, again, why?
degrees Rashad Richey's claimed to hold over the last 25 years or so, almost all of them are from fake schools, diploma mills, or non-existent degree programs at real schools. Let's run down the list on the Fairness Firm's site and cross-reference it with his OG LinkedIn, the one Johnny Walker Dredd covered last year.
Okay, now this Johnny Walker Dredd guy, I saw that Ben Dixon covered this, and he was saying, like, how you're going to listen to a guy like Johnny Walker Dredd. I don't think that that matters necessarily. If the guy's bad faith, obviously, you got to take everything with a bit of a grain of salt, and the guy did seem to have, like, an obsession with exposing Rashad Richey, specifically. Like, the guy has, like, a playlist of just Rashad Richey videos, but that doesn't mean that what he found isn't necessarily true. Like, you can do the cursory research, and some of the stuff they found with this, all it took was just putting in an address and then cross-referencing that to Google Maps and just being like, well, that doesn't look like a school.
Anything you've ever put in the education section is fair game. You don't get to erase lies and get away with it. Let's start with this
Isn't that like the whole thing with academia? Isn't that the reason that you go to college is so you could do this?
doctor degree.
That's why people have a problem with this. I think that that's why there's a visceral problem. Like when anybody hears about this, it doesn't matter who it is.
In law.
Like when the degree mill stuff came out, and I remember this being a news, like pretty big in the news for a little bit there, where they were talking about like cops, firefighters, that kind of stuff. And I know that like he played a clip of that at some point, but I do remember like hearing about these diploma mills, like the Phoenix, University of Phoenix situation. And that's why, like I was saying, everybody kind of can relate to this where it's just like, well, wait, why would I go and pay all this money, go into debt when honestly I could have just bought the degree and still gotten the job? Like it really does kind of make you feel like you're cheated, and like the whole system has kind of failed you in that regard. So
it's the degree.
This should be called out, and honestly, I think that there should be more background checks in these types of situations. Like I think that Jank, honestly, he could have had somebody take a look at this stuff and just been like, "Hey, man, so we're really happy to have you, and we're really happy that you have all these accolades, but this is a lot, and some of it has cut like even just with just a glance, you're like, well, that doesn't seem right."
Degree that qualifies you to put JD after your name. Renaissance University is a
All right, so with the JD thing, that's actually a good time to bring this in. All right, so this is the Nate the Lawyer video. I'm going to warn you that there are AI images abound in this. So yeah, I already take this guy with a grain of salt, but when I saw that he was also using AI images, I was just like, oh, damn it. But we're gonna take the information at face value and then try to break it apart.
real institution.
All right, so here we go.
All right, this is Dr. Rashad Richey. He's claimed to be a physicist, quantum physicist at that, a neurophysicist, a neuroscientist, a cognitive psychologist, a doctor of law, a lawyer, and more. Now, even though Dr. Richey lives in the United States, most of these degrees come from overseas, places like France, Haiti, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Singapore, Mexico, Cambodia. In 2023 alone, he got 6 degrees from 5 different countries. So in this video, we're going to show you where all the fake degrees
Definitely
are.
sus.
We're going to show you how Dr. Richey has presented fraudulent documents to try to convince the masses that his degrees
Like again, AI generated.
are real when they are not. And
Cringe.
we're going to expose the entire thing, hopefully in this one video. We got a lot to talk about. Rashad Richey is a prominent political commentator from the Young Turks and the host of the show Indisputable.
Just gonna run the intro, huh?
Welcome. It's Indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you today.
Now, Dr. Rashad Richey's case is very similar to another case. Remember Dr. Ian Roberts was the superintendent in the largest school district in Iowa.
We are learning new details about a former Des Moines school
Yeah, this was like right after Trump won.
superintendent arrested by ICE. According to documents obtained by the Associated Press, Ian Roberts falsely claimed a doctoral degree when applying for the job. He was hired even
Yeah, I remember they were disingenuously. See, well, this could put a damper on that argument because they were saying the DEI, and they used this guy
after the school board learned
as like an example
about the misrepresentation.
Also, Ian Roberts had a hidden criminal history that most people didn't know about until he was arrested.
According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, New York police charged Roberts with possession on narcotics with intent to sell. Prior gun charges include second-degree criminal possession of a weapon in 2020 and possession of a loaded firearm in 2022. Now, the Des Moines School Board hired Roberts the following year.
Now, similar to Dr. Ian Roberts, Dr. Rashad Richey also has an extensive criminal past that was hidden from the public. So when Richey's criminal past came to light, he decided to sue the bloggers who exposed his criminal past. Now, other news organizations did an investigation. Here is WSB TV in Atlanta. And
Okay, this is new information to me.
they looked at Richey's criminal record, and this is what they concluded. Quote, Richey has a series of misdemeanor convictions for criminal trespass and simple battery. Channel 2 Action News has now learned Richey also has a felony conviction for aggravated assault in 1998, but was sentenced as a first-time offender.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
When he completed his sentence,
I hate this shit. Especially from a fucking lawyer. Nah, I'm not okay with this because again, I'm all for like reform, especially if somebody's doing the work to become better. I can't stand that because then you're no matter what you say, you're always going to boil it down to their worst moment. And that's not okay.
the felon
There's a reason that it is called paying the debt to society. So you can't constantly just bring that up.
he was wiped from his record. And so you guys understand,
Wiped from his record. You just said it at the end there, Nate.
and I do my
It was wiped from his record. Therefore, he didn't necessarily even need to bring that up. So no. You know what? On this one, if we're going to work in a society that is going to imprison people and it's under the auspice that it is to reform them, then you got to let them reform. If you're not going to do that and you're always going to hold them to their criminal past, then what are we even doing?
Due diligence. Here are the police.
And you wonder why recidivism rates are pretty high? Come on, Nate.
Reports for Dr. Richey. They'll be linked in the sources document down in the
Everybody can attack that.
description.
Oh, very important to put that in the sources link, though.
Now, the lawsuit was dismissed because it happened to be true. Richey was a felon and he had multiple criminal convictions under his belt. Now,
This is where it does kind of feel personal, where it's like Nate.
because of Georgia's first-time offender law, it'd be
There's something
incorrect to call Richey a felon.
And that's why, like, when they were talking about the guy that was doing the deep dives, I've already forgot his name, but the white guy, he wears a red hat that's not a MAGA hat, but it's definitely, a bit sus.
Because that felony was wiped off.
He's definitely got a bone to pick with Rashad Richey, and I don't get
Off
it.
here.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and just be like, does he just annoy you, or what is it? What is it?
His record. So now that you have a little background on who Dr. Rashad Richey is,
I don't know if I would spend that much time doing a deep dive into anybody if they didn't, come after me personally.
let's go into his academic rigor. Now, I'm going to say this unequivocally.
That's just
Most
me.
of his degrees are from either unaccredited degree mills or essentially from fake schools. And we're
Dude, AI literally just makes your videos
going
at
to
this
see how
point.
Dr. Richey has
Jesus.
even tried to provide fake documents to prove to the
Yeah, no kidding, it's AI
public
generated.
that these fake degrees are real. And to show you how deep this goes, here is a professor introducing Richey at a commencement ceremony. Tell me if you can pick out which degrees are real and which degrees are fake.
Dr. Richey serves as a professor of physics at Paris Graduate School, as a visiting scholar at Clark Atlanta University, and a professor of business at Morris Brown College. Dr. Richey completed his Juris Doctor degree at Renaissance.
See, right there. Why? Why even do the ones where, why? This is what I don't get.
University.
You can't just be happy with the 3 that you had there? What is with this overachieving BS?
Dr.
What are you trying to prove?
Richey also completed doctoral studies at Clark Atlanta University.
Dude, and no, if these are fake, then this is pretty fucking egregious. I'm not going to ignore that.
In higher education policy reform, and earned a second PhD from the Business University of Costa Rica.
This is what keeps people from actually going into college, because they see shit like this. I'm being honest, man.
And holds an MBA from Beulah High.
Not talking about myself. Mine was a totally different choice for different reasons, but I have talked to other people that are just like, yeah, you know what? What's the point? And then they, you know what? They went to trade school and
University. He finished his Master's of Science in Neuroscience from the University of the Pacific, and a second Master of Science in Applied Physics and Quantum Mechanics, and a Master of Law in Humanitarian Rights, and is currently enrolled in...
How much of an ego do you need to, when you hear her reading this off, and you know that these ones are not up to snuff, man.
The PhD in Quantum Physics Research Program.
And it doesn't pass the sniff test, because, number one, TYT took his response video down. We're going to get into
Through
that.
the Innovate Knowledge Institute at Paris Graduate School. Dr. Richey was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from President...
I mean, this should be embarrassing to anybody that is, in academia or has achieved anything in academia. This should be profoundly embarrassing.
Barack Obama in 2016, and is the youngest inductee into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame.
This guy's in the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame with 13 fake credentials. Crazy, right? Now, if you sat through all that and you thought,
Again, you can hate this guy all you want, but he ain't wrong about this.
this was bad, we haven't even gotten to the miracle year of 2023. In one single year, Dr. Richey claimed to receive 5 advanced degrees from 5 colleges in 5 different countries. This guy is amazing. So let's go over it. In 2023, he said this is when he got his JD from the Haitian school.
Doctor of Jurisprudence.
This is the deleted video, by the way.
Yes. Doctor of Jurisprudence, Université de la Renaissance in Port-au-Prince. Faculty Detroit, Legal Sciences Program. Richey completed his Doctor of Jurisprudence, JD. His academic credential is a license in droit. I will explain what that means in a moment. Graduates with a license in droit, which is what I have. from University of Renaissance, a civil law 4-year bachelor's level degree program. Mine was a JD program because of the credits I transferred in from my previous law school.
So we can all keep up. There's going to be a running list of these fake degrees on screen so you can see them as we debunk them. First, we have a JD. Here is medium.
The other thing is, if it can't hold up to this level of scrutiny,
Explaining to
I'm telling you, then you have to kind of look at this and go, yeah, you know what, there's something there.
everyone
Like
why
I've been saying, you can hate the guy all you
Rashad
want, and you can hate the coverage all you want, but this is pretty egregious.
Richey does not have a JD and cannot practice law and is lying to the public. Here's an article from Medium, and it says the credential crisis, how one man's alleged deception undermines black excellence. They're talking about, obviously, Dr. Richey. In that article, they come to the conclusion that Richey does not have a Juris Doctor, and he's just lying to the audience. Quote.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know this right now, but I would bet that he's going to end up dropping the lawsuit against Cam if he hasn't already.
Perhaps the most
Or if
egregious.
he never even filed it, because from my last update, he didn't even file. He just threatened to
Is Richey's
file.
claim to hold a Juris Doctor, the professional law degree required to practice law in the United States. This claim reveals either stunning ignorance or deliberate deception about how the legal education actually works. And she concludes at the bottom, Richey cannot legally practice law in Georgia or any other U.S. state based on his credentials he claims to possess. Yet he operated a law firm and continues to present himself with legal credentials. Richey then produced these fake degrees. This says Richey graduated from the University of Renaissance and he has a master's of law. But that school doesn't offer a master's degree. It doesn't offer a master's in law. And it's very interesting that there's no date on this degree. And this document is obviously fake too. Why? You got the mixed languages. It's supposed to be from a French school, but you got French, and only place we
At Pep Law.
you see English is so
You see, even at Pep Law, we don't go to degree mills.
you, the public, can understand what he's trying to tell you. And to put a nail in this, the Haitian government says the school Richey claims that he's gotten
Actually, Pep Law probably will. Never mind.
doctorate degree in law cannot even offer those degrees because they
Yeah.
said only 4 schools can offer those degrees.
Yeah, Cam
and
brought that
Richey's
up.
school is not one of them. So as you can see, 2020
Why? See, I keep going back to why. You already had the credentials. You have a PhD. Why? Why pad your resume with such BS that could easily be debunked? And that is just embarrassing.
he's achieved his JD from Haiti. Next, we're in Nicaragua, where he claims to have a neuroscience degree
This is the one.
from
This is bad.
UNIP.
This is really
How do we
bad.
know UNIP is
And he put this up as proof.
fake? Let me show you. Now, Richey is about to put up this document from the University del Pacifico, an admission letter. And this is supposed to prove that he was enrolled in this particular program.
You can put up my enrollment letter.
Yeah, we saw some of this. Cam did a live stream responding to him getting with the threat of him getting sued.
Student
And he brought
name,
this stuff up.
student number, nationality, USA. So in the enrollment
This is
letter, this is when I put in all of my application
I was about to say I didn't do it.
requirements and transcripts. Dear Richey, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted into the master's program in neuroscience for UNIP that starts on the 1st of February 2022 and finishes on the 24th of February 2023 to further your studies. After reviewing your application and the supporting documents, we have determined that you are a qualified student, blah, blah, blah. All right. So that came in 2022. And I finished that degree program, accreditation.
An official letter of admissions from UNIP. Now, this letter is fake, and it has a whole bunch of things that show you exactly why it's fake. And
He needs to back off the microphone. It's picking up every little.
it's leading me to believe that since he put 2 fake documents up on TYT, they made him take down this video. Again, that's just my
They did, though.
assumption.
Again.
Look how
I mean, no, you can make all the assumptions you want. Facts are, this was his response to Cam, and this was his time to prove his accreditations.
fake this document. in it first. This
And then it was so bad and like so egregious that even TYT was like, no, we got to take that down.
is allegedly from the Universidad del Pacifico. But when you go down and look at the seal of the document, it's from a totally different school, the San Jose University Santa Ana, Costa Rica. So since the seal on the document is from the wrong school, we wanted to find out who the hell is David C.H. Liang? Well, my friend Johnny Walker Dread did an expose.
Johnny Walker Dread,
Website from 2020 shows his picture where it clearly states Dr. David Shen Hisang
I guess he's just
Liang,
not all right.
UNIP
Like, is he
president.
on screen?
That erases all doubt about who we're talking about. So what is David Liang all about? Diploma mills. Well, fake PhD investigator poked around and discovered that it is a university founded in Florida by guess who? Shen Hisang Liang. Notice
I can see why people would have a problem with this guy.
that on formal documents,
going
he doesn't
after,
go by the
Rashad.
nickname David. Looking deeper,
Why do you have sunglasses on your lapel and sunglasses on your face?
we see that he's also created Masters University
Anybody else?
Incorporated. I mean,
I think that describes him right
University
away.
Incorporated? Okay. But why stop there when you can create
But this is also part of the problem. If this dipshit can bring this type of attention, you know what? I guess the scrutiny was,
American
you can't really claim to be above it.
Polytechnic Christian University Incorporated.
Dude.
So
That's what my broader point was. It's more embarrassing that this guy broke the story.
universities, all listed with the principal address of El Dorado Drive in Tampa, Florida. All three created by the man who signed Rashad's letter. Let's take a look at this address. Yep, it's a prefab house of
That's insane.
maybe 1,000 square feet. No garage, not even a carport. All three universities use a P.O. box for their mailing address. Yeah, that sounds legit.
Now, also in 2023,
that's
he travels
crazy.
to Singapore, where he claims to have a Master's of Science in Cognitive Psychology from the Asia
Why would you even get in bed with any of
Pacific
this?
School of
I'm
Business.
starting to wonder how the hell he even found this.
Now, to debunk
'Cause,
this
like, that is almost more like it's almost more problematic that like he went into Google. Did he type in like degree mills? What? It almost seems like you have to try to get to these places.
It's easy. Just go to the school's website, the Asia Pacific School of Business, and go to their psychology section and look at their graduate programs. And you can see they don't offer a Master's of Cognitive Psychology at the school. Seems to be made up. Now, just to put a nail in the coffin, the good people there at the Ministry of Education in Singapore actually put out a list of accredited universities and universities that operate justly out of Singapore. And as you can see when you go down the list, the school that Richey got his Master's of Science degree is not listed on this list. So now remember, we're still in 2023. He has an applied physics degree from Costa Rica. So we're from Singapore, now we're in Costa Rica. But unfortunately, that school doesn't have an applied physics department. So I don't know why he claims he got a physics degree from a school that doesn't have a physics program. And also in 2023, he has a master's degree in applied physics from France. He says he got it from the Paris Graduate School. And this is along with his...
As much as I want to be mad at the AI generation, honestly, to apply it like this, I mean, this is almost a good way to show, like, no, Rashad, if you think that this is bad, like, you see these pictures of yourself and you're like, man, no, it's like, well, I mean, you kind of put yourself in a position to where, like, this is the image that we conjure, right?
His quantum physics degree. So I'm going to let Cam James explain why this whole Paris Graduate School is fake.
We can't forget his PhD in quantum physics from Paris Graduate School. He couldn't seem to make up his mind on what he actually did here, considering the old version of his LinkedIn said he was the department chair of science, law, and philosophy. 3 different departments at any real university.
It's one thing to be the department chair of a physics department or a law department or a philosophy department, but he's the chair of all 3.
The dates were also from July 2023 to present, when Johnny made his video on this a couple years back. Fast forward to today.
We also have to bring this up, that how embarrassing would it be if the worst does come from this and he does, end up losing his career over at TYT, that he got taken down by a guy named Johnny Walker Dredd.
And the start date is April 2022, all of a sudden. And he's only claiming a PhD in philosophy and quantum physics now. By the way, quantum physics is just a term he loves using. No accredited degree program anywhere puts those two words together.
I'll be honest, I don't know about that.
Man,
I'm not sure if that's entirely.
Let's hit the homepage of Paris Graduate School. The first sentence I see is incoherent. A graduate school anywhere shouldn't get a pass for language barriers, but one in Paris definitely doesn't. They don't have a quantum physics degree program because no one does. And the last thing, they still list Rashad as the chair of all three departments. You can't even get your LinkedIn on code with the school, fam.
Oh yeah, in 2023, he then also goes to Cambodia and starts a master's program in neurophysics from a school that doesn't have a neurophysics program. Then the next year, he goes to Mexico and gets a doctorate in law. So that means he had to be working on a doctorate while he was getting those other 5 degrees. Oh yeah, and last but not least, he got a quantum physics degree from the Paris Graduate School, which is a scam school. It just is. And we all know it's a scam school. So let's look at
I'm going to still say allegedly, even though you're a lawyer.
his Miracle 2020.
Here on Pep Talks. That was not me. That was Nate the lawyer.
3. He got a JD from Haiti. He got a Master's of Law from Haiti. He got a neuroscience degree in Nicaragua. He got an applied physics degree in Costa Rica. He's got an applied physics degree in France. And he also has cognitive psychology from Singapore. All in the same year, people. So let me bottom line this to you. 21 credentials, 8 countries, and only 1 verified doctorate from Clark University in Atlanta. Now, we're talking about everything from a church in Modesto, California, to a degree mill from Singapore that's giving out masters in physics, but they don't offer masters in physics. Maps don't lie, information don't lie, people lie. And the evidence...
I already know that there's going to be a few things in here because we've had this discussion because we did watch the original Cam James stuff. And I remember we had a discussion about like not canceling and this isn't enough, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to just speak for myself here. I think that it is, and it's not even like I would say publicly. It's just me personally. I cannot watch his content anymore without thinking about why he would need to lie about all that stuff, and then also simultaneously give him the credit where it's like, nah, you know what? Even if he lied about that, it doesn't bother me.
Is indisputable. Now, my take. I believe the Young Turks, TYT, that's Cenk, I believe he understands and knows that one of his top talents is a fraud, is lying about having doctorates and degrees, and it is hurting the cause. If you are claiming to be a progressive show and stand for progressive
literally puts up the Democrat
issues, you cannot allow a fraud to continue to operate. They literally have his fraud.
I hate, this is what I hate. I hate the fact that I'm kind of ideologically opposed to this specific cat. And I'm like, nah, he's right.
Degrees on their website. Just to see, I'm not making this up. You could just scroll down to it and it says here, undertake doctoral casework at Schofield Graduate School, where his quantitative research focused on global effect of Western religion and politics. But here is Schofield Graduate School.
I searched, and this is the closest I could get. It says here, Schofield Graduate School and Theological Seminary, California, and Trinity Graduate School, India.
And you really cannot wear a red hat anymore.
Now,
and
I looked through this. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. So I figured, okay, one way to find out what a school really is about is to go to the actual address. Where are they? I scroll down here.
Again, if this is the level of scrutiny that he's being held to, then it's like, and you can't get past that, that's a problem.
Contact us. And here is the actual address, 1483 Mabel Avenue in Modesto. That's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what 1483 Mabel Avenue, Modesto looks like. And there it is. There is your PhD granting institution where Rashad Richey claims that he got his doctorate. Now you may think, well, wait a minute, maybe it's across the street. No, if you kind of scroll through and look around, this is the neighborhood where this esteemed university is located. And yeah, that's it. There it is.
That's no bueno.
Yes.
I know, it's insane. And he's holding himself out as a doctor. And this is where he's saying he got his PhD from. This is kind of crazy. Dr. Rashad Richey is a fraud, fake, and phony. We all know it.
According to him.
We all see it.
And a lot of evidence.
For fact, this article by Medium sums it up best. Quote, what makes the Richey case particularly insidious is the intersection of fraud and influence. This isn't someone quietly working a job with a fake degree. This is someone using alleged fraudulent credentials to build authority, interview political figures, shape public discourse, and present himself as an educated voice
Nothing wrong about
on
this.
critical issues affecting the black community and democracy itself. As I process my own disappointment, I think about the young black journalists, lawyers, and scholars who are doing the work the right way. The ones burning the midnight oil in law libraries, conducting actual research and defending legitimate dissertations, and earning credentials through intellectual rigor.
I mean, if you think that this isn't going to play into the Trump administration's way of disingenuously using DEI too,
rather than a credit card transaction. We deserve better than bought degrees.
This could do so much more damage.
And borrowed credibility. We deserve representation that is real as the struggles we've overcome to achieve it. Now, the sad part about this whole story is that there are people out here who are defending this fraud. Here is Richard Taylor. He looked at the videos. He sees all the fake degrees. He sees Richey the fraud. And this is his conclusion.
I haven't done any research. I don't care to do any research. Whatever Dr. Richey's educational status is, I see he does bring some issues to light, right? He brings some injustices to light.
This is I heard this from other people too.
He, apparently does things in his community.
That's not a great defense, just so you know.
He came from a gang life or, a street life. So in that regard, we have some things in common as far as, overcoming obstacles and being where we are today. And so my question is to those who, are trying to discredit him, why are you doing it?
You know what? I want to answer that directly with my face on the camera. Those degrees up there took me 8 years to get. The license to practice law and my JD.
And you can, again, disagree with his politics. He's not wrong about this.
8 years. That's undergrad, that's graduate school, and I bust my behind working, taking care of children, and going to school to get those credentials. I didn't just pay for them with a credit card. I did the work. So if you are okay with propping up a fraud, when it's found out that that person's a fraud, it makes us all look bad. But you know what? You're okay with it because you're okay with frauds presenting themselves as black excellence. So if that's what black excellence is to you, then you're a fraud just like he is. Because I think what black excellence is someone actually going, doing the work, earning the degrees, and then coming on here and telling you like it is. But that's too much to ask. That the man who says that he's a quantum physicist
Is that fucking Triple H behind him?
actually goes and takes the courses, actually goes and does the work. You sound like a fool. And if you want to continue to watch Dr. Richey and play that game, that's fine.
It's Bret the Hitman Hart.
But remember, if he's black
He's
excellence,
got a new 52 art
then
piece.
you're saying black excellence is a fraud.
And
Plain
Roman
and simple.
Reigns. That's Roman Reigns. Sorry.
So at the end of the day, what say you? Do you believe Richey's legit or do you think he is a fraud? Don't forget, like, share.
All right. So, this is where I'm going to give my take on this. Although I did kind of go into it throughout the duration of the video. I'll just do my summary. I think that this does lend to people calling him a fraud, and this is what sucks, because he's not really. Like, he does have a PhD from my understanding. He does have, accreditations that you could never take away from him, but this is so egregious and this needs to be called out. You know, and that pass that that other guy was trying to give, where he's just like, he's done a lot for the community. No, 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 no. Because like I know I had a pastor when I was still obviously, you know, going to church. That it turned out he not only got busted committing adultery, but he was doing so with a parishioner who was underage. So take that for what you will. Um, and we had a lot of people within the congregation that were like, okay, but this doesn't diminish what he did, and this doesn't diminish his good works. And honestly, he has shown that he is willing to repent for this. And, you know, we are about forgiveness. And it's just like, wow, wow. So quick too. And it's just like, no, it's the hero worship shit. That's the cult stuff. And that's where I'm calling it out. If you cannot objectively and critically think of the leaders in whatever movement you're in, whether it be political or religious, then you need to step back and kind of do that. Like, just have that just one thought. Like, am I in a cult? Do I have the sunken cost fallacy? Like, do I have that whole, behavior behind it where it's just like I'm standing up for something that I'm actually ideologically opposed to, especially if somebody that was outside this bubble started doing, then I would call them out on the same thing. Because I'll be honest, if there was a right winger doing this, I would be just as quick to call it out and to platform it. And Cam James kind of said something pretty good there, where he was just talking about how, no, we do need to call out our own. Like, this idea that we stop short of somebody that is in political or, again, sociological agreements with us. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. If anything, no, you should hold those people to a higher standard. It's the same with your friends. Like, you should hold your friends to a high standard. And, you know, I have had to end friendships because it turned out that they were not good people. It turned out that they, you know, had it within them to commit some stuff that I may not have ever seen them do it, but when it came to light, it was just like, yeah, I can't associate with that, you know. And maybe it's because I do have a pretty old school, I guess, religious way of thinking, where it's like you're kind of judged by the company you keep. At least, you know, my grandma was kind of about that, but it's frustrating though. It really is. And like I tried to preface a little bit, and I don't think I did a good enough job on it. I liked watching Indisputable. Indisputable was one of those shows that it always felt different than everything else on TYT, to the point where it was like, no, it was something that I would seek out. I would go watch his interviews. But now, it really does make me question everything. Like, even in his authority of speaking. Like, and this is where I apply it to the pastor, where it's like, nah, man, nah, there's just no, I can't mentally get past that, separate the art from artist type of BS. And I would also argue that in the good stuff that he has done, this actually damages that. You know what I mean? Like, when he went to that clip of her reading all the accreditations, like, after having the context of why we were watching it, that was a bit cringe. Especially when it, like, you can kind of check mark each one and just be like, wow. Because, what was it, 4? He had 4 legit accreditations that, I'm not even kidding. You stop there, that's awesome. It's more than I'll ever fucking do. Like, you kidding me? But, this is embarrassing, I have to say. It kind of sucks, but thank you for hanging today. Got a little bit left to go in the show, and if you guys do not know, we are in a bit of a Terminator timeline here, if you will. I had something else going on today, so I had to do a pre-record. Apologies to anybody that has gotten fooled, or if hasn't seen the Chiron if it's running. Yes, we had to do a pre-record, but I always appreciate when you guys join me on Primetime with Primetime Pepaganda. I gotta make that a new thing. I just you know what? We should probably work on that. Producers, let's get on that. Also, I haven't said the thing, so if you guys can hit the like button on the stream, it really helps out every creator on this space. Makes you that much more awesome of a person, and you guys can know that you truly have the appreciation of one of the content creators. This guy, RVD. Again, if you know, you know. But yeah, and also, if you guys want to check out the VOD for the stream, as I said, this is a bit of a Terminator timeline where I'm going to be talking a little bit about what's coming up in my future dash past. Yeah, you guys can check out Cam. We're watch Cam James, or we have watched. Haha, there we go. We have watched Cam James cover TYT as a whole. So if you want to see that breakdown and my reactions to that, you guys can go watch the VOD from the stream. It really helps me out. Whenever you guys do that, you guys now have the option to do so vertical and horizontal. Actually, you know what? I'm going to address the vertical stream stuff while I'm here. Okay, so if you guys don't know, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people in chat right now that totally know, you know what? I'm going to just take this moment to say shout out Etch, shout out Pinkerbell, shout out to every Matchakit. Like, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody, but if you guys have been in my vertical streams and you have had to moderate, I really appreciate the help. Alirda, God, I know I'm forgetting some people, and I feel so bad about that. Again, if I forgot about you, you can chastise me on the next live, and I will make sure to give you a call out, a shout out. But yeah, the moderation is definitely needed because we do have. I don't know why my stream specifically. That's very odd to have happen during a pre-record. Somebody followed me. While I'm not live. Hey, cool. Thank you for the follow. Sif Play. Very cool. But yeah, my vertical stream is definitely, like, it gets brigaded. I'm still under, like, the impression that I'm not sure if they're bots, and they seem to be smarter bots than your average ones. It's not the ones where they just like do like name, 4 numbers, and then spam. Like, I get those, but I don't know. I've had a few situations where I'll call somebody out on it, and then they're just like, no, I'm not a bot, real. Or those. The funniest one was the guy that was just like, beep boop, bitch. I know that you guys have seen that one, but yeah, it is definitely a different vibe. I noticed on Jake's vertical live stream, he has a very similar demographic coming to him. So I think with that, what happens is the way that the shorts algorithm works, it goes to whoever is looking for news and political content. So we get them all there. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of protest coverage too. So man, it was pretty much after Renee Good. Like, it's almost been daily. But on the other side of that, it's also doing well. You know, I've got some really cool people that come on in, and I think that because I do engage the way I do, I have been able to kind of weed out the people. You know, they get bored. Some of them will return to kind of troll me a little bit, but for the most part, yeah. I have noticed that it has kind of calmed down a little bit. I've noticed that, and this is where for anybody that is looking at doing vertical streaming, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. You just got to get through that initial push because, yeah, you start seeing some more like-minded people coming into chat. It's pretty cool. You know, and I always feel good about that. And I also, you know what, I'll just say it. I've had some people say that I have changed their minds specifically in the way that I interact with them. And that's why this might get a little bit preachy, but this is why you do need to kind of engage people in a way that isn't condescending. I know that I don't like people coming at me with preconceived notions, like when they just say I'm liberal, you voted Democrat, you're just a liberal Democrat, centrist, blah, 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 any of it. if your first initial impression is to not even ask what my position is, then I've kind of got an issue there. Again, left or right. But I think that that's why I have been able to engage people and bring them, to the level that they're willing to talk. And I have had people tell me that, like, I started here as a troll. We got one of the famous guys in the chat. Shout out Kirk Official Music. Go follow him. He came to my channel, over a year ago at this point. It's flying by. But yeah, he came here as a MAGA troll. Maybe not even a MAGA troll, but he came here to troll. Like, he was definitely right wing. And he has, don't want to speak out of turn here, man, but, the fact that you have said, me engaging is what kind of calmed you down. You have shifted your views a little bit. Not sure entirely, but, and that's all I'm looking to do is kind of just, if we can start by getting people to engage and not just constantly shouting at each other, and then we can find common ground, and I know that some people are just like, no, that's lame, or, oh, that's the easy way. It's like, yeah, and we should definitely consider, hard to say now during the Trump administration. All right, I'll concede that, especially after the Renee Good thing with everything going on with ICE. It is very easy to fall into the emotion. But this is also where, addressing the vertical chat thing again, it's kind of gotten easier for me to not engage as much. But I kind of, you know what? If you guys were watching the show yesterday, I did have a moment with the chatter that just got annoyed. And the funniest part is, it's all because I watched this. I'm sure you guys have heard of Hawk, mullet guy. Good content. Seems like a nice dude. But he was talking about his ADHD and his oppositional defiance disorder, his ODD, which I have the exact same diagnosis. But when I got the diagnosis for ODD, I thought it was BS right away. Because oppositional defiance disorder, it's literally you're being told that your brain doesn't conform to social norms or to authority. Like, you essentially have a problem with authority, which I don't feel like that's a mental disorder at all. I think people that are lacking that are actually the ones that are mentally disabled, in my opinion. But yeah, it's somebody that, that holds that diagnosis as well. My broader point was that when I got diagnosed with that, I kind of felt like, no, that's the government just trying to control you, man. And my therapist was just like, you would say that though if you had ODD. I'm like, yeah, but hold on, this is a catch-22, man. For real. Like, you're telling me that because I have a problem with authority, that I have a mental disorder, which I don't feel like that's a slippery slope, in my opinion. Now, the ADHD, yes. 10,000%. My dyslexia, again, yes. God, the fact that I got diagnosed late in life sucks, guys. So if you guys are of a younger age, I'm going to just say this much, and you have the feeling that you have this stuff going on, talk to a doctor, because if you go to a GP, like a general practitioner, or even like somebody within your hospital network, they will get you to somebody that will be able to diagnose you with these conditions. And trust me, don't be afraid to. Like, I know that there's a lot of stigma behind mental health, especially now with, like, literally today, Trump signed an executive order to bring back mental institutions and insane asylums, which, great. You're going to see a lot. And this is where I think that this is the preface for locking up leftists. I'm not even kidding. Like, you're going to see a lot of people that are of the left persuasion that are going to start occupying these things, because they're going to start, this is the slippery slope thing. I'm sorry to any of my trans viewers, but be vigilant, guys. Guys and girls, sorry. Because guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I whoever said that in chat, I appreciate you, because I like that one. But yeah, just be vigilant, because this is why they were doing the like preface with like, oh, well, technically being trans is a mental illness kind of thing. And then autism, like this is their way of just being like, oh, there's undesirables in our community. This is what we can do. And we can do it under the auspice of, oh, well, we're helping them with their mental health. I'm not trying to end the show on like a dire like note, but it's something to definitely be aware of. You know, with everything going on with ICE, it's not beyond anything that they have shown us that they are willing to do. So, I think that we, keep vigilant. I am happy to see that there is as much pushback to everything that ICE is doing publicly, where we have a bunch of independents that are starting to come out. You have a bunch of right-wingers that do not support Trump anymore. Like, you have people that went this whole year, they voted for Trump, and now they're like, can you please forgive us? Which, that's another conversation for kind of another day, because I know that I could do a full hour on that, but to kind of sum up, it's like, this is where the redemption thing kind of comes in. If they're willing to join us as the community that is pushing back against ICE, let's not do what sometimes we always do, where we just go, well, I'm holding you to your worst take. You're not welcome. I don't think that that's what we should be doing anymore, but that doesn't mean letting your guard down entirely. Trust me, there are some bad actors out there. There are some people out there that will try to disingenuously use our forgiveness against us. And I think that, again, vigilance is important, but I do also think that, you can tell the difference. I think that we all have the mental acuity to kind of differentiate between somebody that's coming in, legitimately and is legitimately concerned about what's going on, and the people that are trying to infiltrate. Because I know that yesterday, I'll address this too. Yesterday, I kind of broke it down for people where I'm like, if you want to prove that people are getting paid at these protests, it's pretty easy. Show up to the protests, talk to the protest organizers, and ask where you get your paycheck, and then make a TikTok about it. Now, the reason I'm even bringing this up is that you guys should do the exact same. Like that one, take it and use it daily, because they do not have an answer for that one. And the more and more that they get faced with the fact that it's like, you guys could easily expose us, and then also use the Minnesota thing and be like, I thought that fraud was kind of your thing. I thought that you guys wanted to expose fraud. What's going on there? Yeah, don't be afraid to do that. But one thing I will say also is to kind of put a bow on this, and also not leave it to where it's like, be vigilant, and also kind of feeling like the unsettling feeling. Just know that, yeah, we have a kick butt community here on this space, here on the left, just in general. We have cultivated really one of the best spaces online. And I know that I'm biased, but I'm also being honest. I love everybody that's here. I love everybody that has, that watches my stream. And I'm not just saying that because you guys watch me, legitimately. You guys are fun people. I love engaging with you guys. And I love just being able to have these conversations. And I think that we need to continue this. I think that we're in for an interesting 3 years, folks. I will say that much. But with that being said, I'm going to start doing some plugs and then kick it off to the next show. I know that you guys are waiting for Left Past 10, But in the meantime, before Left Past 10 kicks off and you guys get to hang with the wonderful crew over there, shout out Letterhack, shout out Jake, and shout out Andrea. Also Sandy. I can't forget Sandy. Sandy's awesome. You guys should definitely check out Environmental Coffee House for anybody that's interested in, climate and some of the more serious stuff that we should be talking about, and also, a little bit of vegan talk there. It's good place for people to hang out. But the most important thing is that you guys like and subscribe to this space, and go over to my channel at Peptalks TV on YouTube. I'm sure the description is in the chat here. You guys, or the link is in the chat here, and you guys can subscribe to my channel. We're getting so close to 2K. Not sure if we did it today or not, but we're almost there. Really appreciate all you guys checking out the content and hanging. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.